All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to our Thursday night live stream after this very interesting game between the Seattle Seahawks and, of course, San Francisco 49ers. Welcome, everybody. For the next hour plus, I'm going to be answering all your guys' fantasy football-related questions going into Week 15. Of course, it has already begun, and for some of us, the week started off great. For others, perhaps it didn't go so well, whether it's the contributions of somebody like a Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, obviously didn't play up to their normal standard over the course of, the last 2 months here, obviously demonstrating that they are far better than what they produced tonight. Either way, hopefully the remainder of this week can treat you well and help you advance to the next round of your playoffs. For those of you who are obviously benefiting from having a already stat-packed record and are dealing with a bye week, congratulations. You can go ahead and relax this week and take it easy and perhaps prepare for next week, whether it's kicker, defense, and try to align matchups accordingly. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and pop up the chat in just a moment. Before we begin, if you guys have any questions, be sure to go ahead and let me know what your scoring from it is when you type it in the live chat. If you do send in a super chat, again, don't feel obligated to do so. Greatly appreciate it. Be sure to also include your scoring format in there, whether it's standard, half PPR, full PPR, 4-point per passing touchdown, 6-point, all that kind of jazz. Also, click the like button. Be greatly appreciated. Also, as you can see to the right, the left of me on the right of my screen, doesn't matter. It's kind of flipped. To the left of me, if you guys haven't checked out PrizePicks, we're going to go ahead and put together a couple picks later today in regards to going into this week. I've had my fair share of luck, especially tonight. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. They're currently running a promotion in regards to the 12 days of Pickmas. If you guys haven't checked it out, earlier today's Pickmas kind of entry that was honestly a favor from PrizePicks was the idea of being able to get a protected play up to $20. You put in the play, you don't get all of your overall entries correct. You get your money back, no big deal. I didn't need to get my money back tonight. I was able to kind of pull it through there. But either way, if you guys are interested in going ahead and taking advantage of the 12 days of Pickmas and or just playing PrizePicks in general, whether it's the NFL, NBA, NHL, all that kind of jazz, you can check out the link down in the description. Use promo code Andrew when you sign up, because when you use the promo code, your first time deposit is immediately doubled up to $100. So check that out today. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's pop open the YouTube chat. All right, guys, how's it going, guys? I was already reading some of your guys' comments. Somebody in the chat was saying, it's no longer Brock Purdy. Where did the comment go? I don't know where it went, but here it is. It's not Brock Purdy, it's Brock Sturdy. And that made me laugh. Like, it legitimately did. I was like, all right, that's a good one. That's a good one. But what's up, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit here and we'll just talk fantasy. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Kittle McCaffrey started off. Yeah, I mean, listen, that was the expectation, right? Really advantageous matchup. Purdy's been playing well. He was already kind of earlier this afternoon pretty much determined to be inactive. That's why I suggested him on the quarterback video. Obviously, the other quarterback that I suggested, Geno Smith, didn't play as well as he potentially could have, but either way, the pass rush was certainly getting after him. Andrew, the guy I'm playing has both DK and Lockett tonight. I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, Hayden, to be totally honest, that's the best case scenario that you could have possibly had going in your direction. Otherwise, both of them probably could have had a touchdown on top of their score line, and it would have been a normal week. And yeah, you'd be in a far less advantageous position, as I love to say that word. I started Conklin instead of Fant. Yeah, I mean, Fant coming off of a really unproductive week last week, Snooki. What was it? 1 target, 0 receptions. Really just wasn't in the cards in my mind going into this week's matchup, especially against the 49ers of all defense. They're top 2 in terms of stopping opposing tight ends this season already. Ron says, I need to start one in a super flex as a ceiling play. Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder, Leonard Fournette, Chris Moore, and or David Njoku. Wow. Super flex in this position. It might be a little bit crazy. I think I want to play Desmond Ridder there. I think David Njoku is probably a solid play. If in fact we get to Sunday and there's no Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, which there's a possibility of that. Chris Moore could be a play as well, but I think I want to play Desmond Ridder out of that group there. Cryptic says K9 is him. I mean, hey, Kenneth Walker, I was hoping was going to score a touchdown there when they got down. And fortunately, it was Noah Fant that came down with it, but I was hoping that he got them down there after that reception. Hopefully he would have punched it in. That's always the thing. The unpredictability of touchdowns always is the determining factor as to whether or not you're winning or potentially losing a given week. It's tough there for sure. Kittle, Myers, DK and San Francisco defense got me rolling into playoffs. I mean, hey, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Let's see here. Hey, Andrew, great video as always. Two different teams here. So Olave or DPJ in a half PPR scoring format. As of right now, I'm probably still leaning towards DPJ. As for the follow-up, and if Stevenson is out in a full PPR, do I go DPJ, Hollywood, J.K. Dobbins, Gibson, or Judy? Out of this group, I probably play Judy and or DPJ, but I'm currently in a full PPR leaning towards Judy with the backup quarterback there. Anyone know if Goddard will play? Carl, the assumption is that he will. The report that I read earlier this morning when I was doing my research for the tight end video to make sure everything was good to go. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't checked out the video that I posted earlier today, quarterback and tight end rankings for week 15, thumbnail, as you can see bottom right, it is currently live on the channel. You can go ahead and check that out. Posted a little bit before the Thursday night football game. As soon as, the upload went through, it took quite a while to upload this video. Put on a lot of potential research for this video. So if you take time out of your day, you have any questions in regards to some of those plays, you can go ahead and check that out. It should be able to answer that. Alrighty, thank you, appreciate it. But in regards to, what was I commenting about? Yeah, Goddard. My assumption is that he will play because the report that I read this morning said that he's trending towards playing this week, and I'm gonna go ahead and hope that my source is accurate. Glad I didn't start Kenneth. I mean, Kenneth wasn't a bad play today. If you were looking for someone that was an RB2, that's what you got out of him, right? He could have been better, could have been 15, 16 points. But I think that his contribution was actually quite good based on everything in consideration. What's up, Andrew Noble? How you doing? Cryptic says, Ramondre hasn't even gotten a limited practice. Yeah, no, he hasn't practiced at all this week. He's probably not going to play at all this week. It's going to be a matter of whether or not it's going to be Damian Harris and or Pierre Strong. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Foreman or Rashad White? Foreman or Rashad White? Probably at this moment, based on what we end up seeing by Friday for Fournette, it's probably going to be in the direction of going Foreman this week. Unless you're playing in a full PPR, at that point, I'd be willing to take White just off the receptions alone, being able to get you like 10 base points at a minimum, and then everything after that would be just fantastic. Kittle and Walker have me. Yeah, I mean, look, Kittle in sort of any combination today would have been perfect. So we're happy to see it. Okay, we had a couple super chats come in. We're going to address those right now. I just wanted to see anything else. Dallas, Denver, or New England? That's a good one. Currently going into this week, my preliminary defensive rankings go as such. It goes Dallas, Denver, and New England in that exact order. Dallas, Denver, New England. So it could end up changing by the time we get to Sunday if any sort of weather or any information in terms of news, whether it is offensive players missing, makes itself available. But that's currently the track that I'm on. I'd like to play Denver's defense against McCoy. I think New England going up against, Derek Carr is probably the worst case scenario out of the group. But Dallas's defense kind of has built themselves a place on majority of my rosters where I'm just not touching them. I think they're one of the elite defenses, just like the 49ers earlier today. What do you think about my team? Mahomes, Connor, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, Adams, Garrett. I mean, what do I think about your team? You're stacked. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, Juan. I mean, you've really got a stacked team there. Rashad White, we have Zonovan Knight, Najee Harris, Gabe Davis, full PPR. I mean, in a 12-team league, the fact that you've been able to construct this kind of roster, it's quite impressive. I mean, I'm looking at the team across the board, right? It's probably like an Adams first-round pick into an Aaron Jones second, or actually it's probably Kelsey into Adams and an Aaron Jones in the third, Connor in the fourth, Keenan Allen. I mean, it's a pretty good-looking team across the board. But yeah, I can see how you constructed it, and it's honestly going to pan out pretty well for the remainder of the season here. Oh, you have Najee as well. Yeah, I'm actually curious how you constructed this team via draft. You must have traded a bunch of players away. Yo, Andrew, do I trust Singletary or try Strong and maybe Hasty? I'm not playing. I'm not playing Jermichael Hasty in any sort of regard unless Travis Etienne somehow is out. And even in that case, it's probably not the best play overall. If it's between someone like Singletary and Strong, it's purely based on whether or not Ramondre Stevenson's playing. So we'll know that by Friday. So until then, we'll just kind of keep that, at status quo. Let's just play Singletary until we get information regarding Ramondre and Damian Harris. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, let me go ahead. Let me address some of these super chats that were sent in my direction. I'm just realizing that super chats have a winter wonderland theme to them, which is interesting. Michael Carry-On. Let me see what you had here, my man. Michael Carry-On. Let's see here. Where the heck is Michael Carry-On? Michael, carry on. Here we are, my man. It says full PPR. Pick 2. Okay, so out of these potential running backs, we have ETN, we have Swift, we have Jamal, we have White, we have Bam, we have Damian Harris. Okay, so let's say, for example, theoretically, Ramondre Stevenson is out and Damian Harris logs a full practice by Friday. I would then play ETN along with Damian Harris. If that is not the case, and in fact, we're in a situation where we end up seeing Ramondre play or Damian Harris out, something of that extent, where Damian Harris is no longer of value, it would then be ETN in a full PPR, probably with Swift at that point. As much as I like Bam Knight, you guys know how much I like him. I am deathly afraid of the Detroit Lions run stop defense. That is the first time that has ever come out of my mouth. I thought about retracting the statement, but it's out there now. So very interesting. It's just they've been playing far too well. Michael says, start Bam Knight, Foreman, or White in a PPR. And that's a really good question. Again, I think this is purely going to revolve around what exactly we see from Fournette's status and whether or not White could just continue to be that primary back. Because if he is, he's got pretty good upside in a PPR. Foreman has a lot of touches, but again, is 100% dependent on a touchdown to get himself into that 12 to 13 point range. Knight has been able to do it. It's just a matter of, can he continue that? I mean, it's sketchy. Of the 3, Bam Knight is ranked the highest out of my current rankings, but it is sketchy to immediately suggest that blindly. So we'll talk about it. Okay. Getting back to some of these super chats that were sent in. Derek Just, thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate it. It says, bad start to the playoffs. I'm 9-5, and I'm going up against a 6-8 team. Went up against McCaffrey and Kittle, down 55.4 to 17.7. I had Ayuk and Lockett. Need a miracle. Yeah, you certainly do. Hey, let's hope that the fantasy gods smile upon you, because that is a rough way to start. I'm just surprised how a 6-8 football team has McCaffrey and Kittle. I mean, I guess maybe the rest of his team hasn't played well, and that's what you have to hope. You got to hope that both those guys aren't able to show. I mean, the rest of his team, isn't able to show up in order to kind of help his team out there. Corey Olson sends in a question. Thank you very much, Corey. I appreciate that. Says, good day, my friend. Unfortunately, my season is over. Waddle and Lamar became a liability in the last few weeks. Yep, that is for certain. Losing Goddard hurt as well. No tight end help. Always wanted to tell you thank you for the great season. I appreciate that, Corey. So unfortunately, we weren't able to pull it through. Obviously, yeah, Waddle and Lamar definitely led us down a very unfortunate path, to say the very least. It's not their fault. Waddle needs more targets. Obviously not getting them. Obviously been dealing with injuries. And same thing with Lamar. Lamar's been dealing with injuries. It is something that we just can't control. And obviously the circumstance you were in with Goddard as well. I mean, injuries pretty much riddled your season, which is unfortunate. Sorry to hear about that, Corey. But hey, next year, maybe we got to draft more teams. If your season's over, guys, just a reminder, okay? If you guys only play in one league, you got to expand. You got to play in more leagues every single year. Even if you don't have, potential homies to play with or friends or coworkers that play leagues, go join other leagues. There are other ways to play, you know what I mean? And just so you keep going, you have multiple dogs in the race, you know what I mean? Like if for example, you draft a team and everyone gets injured, like this circumstance, it sucks, right? But when you have the ability of drafting 4 different teams, you can diversify, you can have other players to root for. You don't always have to be, singularly focused. It's make or break with one team, which at times can just get unlucky, Appreciate it, Corey. Thank you. Mike Koch says, hey, bro, thanks for getting me to the playoffs and first place in W and points. Wow. Okay. Well, congratulations. That's awesome to hear, Mike. I don't know who to start at wide receiver 2 and flex. I mean, listen, hold up. First and foremost, you are in first place in terms of total points scored and in total record, and you have to play this week. What's going on here? Something's going on with your league, Mike. You guys got to change that a little bit. Maybe give you a first round bye for earning that. Okay. Either way, let's go ahead and talk about your scenario here. So you don't know who to start at wide receiver 2, and you have 2 flex available spots that you can fill in. You got Curtis Samuel, Demarcus Robinson, Alec Pierce, Brandon Cooks, Cortland Sutton, Richie James, Jameson Williams, and Michael Gallup. Okay, of the group right now, my 2 highest ranked of, okay, we need 3 of them though. Okay, so currently, Brandon Cooks, we're not 100% certain as to whether he'll play. Same thing with Cortland Sutton, same thing with Richie James Jr. So the 3 highest players that I have ranked out of this group is Curtis Samuel, Alec Pierce, and Michael Gallup. Those are the 1, 2, 3. If in fact something is to change with Richie James, he would fill in for Gallup in this conversation. Outside of that is the 3 that I'm most comfortable with going into this week's matchup with your full PPR circumstance there, Mike. Thank you. Sweezy says, I had to start the night. Wait, I had to start the night against Kittle, and I had Myers, so 25-3 right now. Okay, Myers at least pulled together 9 points, which is great. We'll take that. Still keeping the faith. Unfortunate that I might not have Ramondre. Yeah, that'll definitely suck. Yeah, man, injuries. That's the thing, right? As much as fantasy football you can prepare for, you can strategize for, injuries are the number one variable that really can derail any sort of logic. As long as an injury is present, it does not matter. Your season can be over just like that. Let's just hope that Ramondre, even if you're not able to play him this week, you have an available option elsewhere. Sweezy, just let me know in the live chat what else you got available to kind of fill in for him. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alicia sends in a question. Says, by the way, thank you for sending that in. Half PPR, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Etienne, Pacheco, Mostert, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, so we got some pretty good options here, huh? Choose 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex going into the week in a half PPR scoring format. The other guy has Mahomes. Hedge my bet and play Juju Smith-Schuster. Jeff Wilson might be out. Yeah, even if Jeff Wilson is active, I'm not playing him. I think the last couple of games in which he's either gone down with cramps and left in the second half against Houston, and or this last week where he was dealing with a hip injury, even if he's active, I'm probably not going to risk it in that capacity. So of the available players that you do have, Pacheco and Etienne are the running backs for sure. Like just 1-2 combo there. If we're playing a wide receiver and a flex, the wide receiver is DeAndre Hopkins in relation to, of course, Colt McCoy. Like we talked about on Wednesday's video, when they've played together earlier this season, DeAndre Hopkins is about averaging 12 targets per game, 9 receptions per game, nearly 80 yards. So he's a pretty good option in a half PPR. Probably get you about 12 plus fantasy points in that capacity. If he scores a touchdown, even better. But it'll be interesting up against Denver. So it's just a question of Amari Cooper or Juju Smith-Schuster, huh? I think, man, I think I probably just play Juju there just to play it safe. As much as, man, it is tough. I had Amari Cooper ranked higher a little bit earlier this week. I just don't trust it. Not yet, at least. Maybe I have to blindly trust it for it to actually like finally pan out here. But it is difficult to trust. I'm kind of leaning in the direction of Juju after that hot week, though. David Garcia sends in a question, says, who do I start, Matt Ryan, Ryan Tannehill, or Andy Dalton? At this moment, Ryan Tannehill. As much as I like the Matt Ryan matchup, Andy Dalton has got a good matchup too, but Andy Dalton sucks. Matt Ryan, as much as I like the matchup, he's not great either at football at this current stage of his career. In terms of what we need, which is fantasy points, he's not really scoring that. He can get the job done. The guy makes multi-millions to throw the ball down the field, and he's one of the best 32 in the league. So at this moment, if you need fantasy points, Ryan Tannehill is probably the guy to get that for you. Michael Barton sends in a question. Thank you very much, Michael. Hope you're doing well. Says 12-team PPR. My running back 1 is Jacobs. My RB2 is Pacheco. Flex 1, Dobbins, Knight, Etienne, Elijah Moore. Etienne's probably the guy out of that group. I know his recent performances have not been convincing, but I truly do believe that the matchup against the Dallas Cowboys does promote a little bit more potential for Etienne to have breakout performances. If you play on like Yahoo and you look at the matchup, Etienne versus Dallas, it's probably going to show red, as in like it's not a great matchup. But the reason why I isolate more recent dates and recent games when I talk about running back matchups is because it gives you more perspective. Also, I don't take into account, receiving statistics, and I don't take into account fullback stats. So when I isolate statistics, it purely does show Dallas over the course of the last 2 months is giving up 15 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs on rushing statistics alone. I think it's like 14.7 something. So Etienne's got to be the play there. As for Ingram or Okonkwo, for the Titans, I mean, at this point, I think you just kind of have to play the hot hand of Ingram and let it roll there. And then let's see here. Etienne versus Dallas, Dobbins versus Cleveland. Yeah, I'd rather have Etienne there. And your final question there, Michael, is McLaughlin a good play? Yeah, I think McLaughlin for the Colts is a pretty good kicker. He's been relatively consistent as late. So if you're going to roll with him, absolutely, let's go for it. Okay, so really quickly, for those of you who are just joining us right now, I'm just catching up on a couple super chats. I'm going to get back to the chat in just a moment. Again, we're going to be here for a while, so do not worry. The questions will be answered soon enough, but just want to catch up on some of these. We had a question sent in from Johnny here. Let me see where the heck you at, Johnny. F3 function, Johnny. Okay, so Johnny, where the heck is that question? Here it is. So Johnny says, wait. Do I start Goddard if he plays this week or stream another tight end? Johnny, what are your other options, my man? Again, guys, if you haven't checked out my quarterback and tight end rankings video, as you can see at the bottom right here, I've pretty much got an entire billboard of things on screen, but hopefully it's not too distracting. If in fact you've gone ahead and checked out the video, I'm really confident if in fact he does play. If he doesn't, what are your other streaming options available? But if he's active, yeah, he's probably in my lineup, and I'm not even questioning it. Thank you. Sweezy says, also, if Mondre doesn't play, do I start Strong or Mostert? I would only play Strong if Damian Harris was out. So if Ramondre is out and Damian Harris is out, I would play Pierre Strong Jr. If Damian Harris is active, gets a full participation in practice on Friday, at that point, then you would then pivot to Mostert. Thank you, Sweezy. Dominic Bueno, what's up, man? I hope you're doing well. Mike White or Watson this week? I would play Watson. I have them back-to-back ranked in the quarterback and tight end rankings video from earlier today. Watson at 12, Mike White at 13. But I'll play Watson against Baltimore. As for Olave or Najee Harris in a full PPR scoring format, I would... I think I'm leaning in the direction of just playing Najee Harris there. As much as I do like the potential for Olave's matchup against Atlanta, I'll just take the solidified like 10 points with Najee, with the potential of getting himself upwards of like 16 if the end zone and or a big run is to accompany his performance. So I'll take Najee there just for the safety of playing the stud there. Appreciate it. Okay, we've caught up a little bit. Let me go ahead. Let's look at the chat here. Could Driscoll be a thing versus Kansas City? I truly do believe. There's a reason why on today's episode I mentioned him, right? He actually, I mean, I currently have him as my number 17 ranked tight end in half PPR. So technically he could be a play. It's just a matter of we haven't seen the Houston Texans utilize him at this capacity very long. So he doesn't have the base floor that someone like Taysom Hill has, in the idea like, okay, we know already that Taysom Hill is a 1 out of every 4 week kind of guy. 1 out of every 4 weeks he'll score a touchdown. He'll be a relevant tight end. So we don't know if they're going to utilize Jeff Driscoll at a per week basis to where he's always getting touches at this capacity, or if this was just a 1 week thing and then they're going to kind of play it by ear going forward. So at that point, it could be a thing. We just don't know at what capacity. Half PPR, Mike Williams or ETN. Ooh, that's a really good one. Actually, I'm going to go check my rankings from earlier today. I don't even, off the top of my head, I want to say Mike Williams, but I don't even know if that's what I had earlier today. Let's see here. Earlier today, where is Mike Williams? So I have Mike Williams at 32 and I have ETN at 35. Yep. I'll take Mike Williams there. That's what I was thinking. I knew it was close though, in terms of off the top of my head. Mike White or Deshaun Watson, dude. Yeah, I'm taking Deshaun Watson there, my man. Let's see here. You know what's funny, dude? When we were talking on Sunday about this last Sunday, week 14, about Travis Homer, you were like, anybody who plays Travis Homer is going to be in a disastrous position. Tony Jones Jr. has been named the starter. Tony Jones Jr. didn't even show up to that game practically. I mean, neither of them were good plays. So either way, it's great that we moved him down the list because of that information. But my goodness, man, that the information as relevant as it was, it really didn't come to fruition, which was crazy to see, huh? Legion says start 3: Saquon, Mixon, Jones, Kamara. All right, this is a pretty good question. Of the available options here, I have these 3 ranked highest. I have Kamara as the fourth, I would say, of the quartet. So he's the odd man out technically. As for your follow-up question, Olave, Waddle, Hopkins, I'm playing Hopkins there. So as much as I love, again, Kamara and Waddle, their inconsistencies as of late lead me to believe that there's a potential that it could continue. And if it does, really could hurt us in terms of fantasy. Should I start Zonovan Knight or Fournette in the flex as a full PPR format? I don't know. You know what? Let me go ahead and check something real quick. I'm actually curious where Fournette stands on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice report, because usually I don't look at it until we get to about Friday, because that's when it's most relevant. He's not even on the injury report. So that's interesting. Could probably see a little bit more utilization. Is Tristan Wirfs going to play? Because that's actually huge. Tristan Wirfs limited on Thursday. Could be decent. Let me see who else is missing time. At this moment, I'd probably lean towards Zonovan Knight, but not 100% convinced that that'll be the case by the time we get to Sunday. So we'll have to keep that monitored. We saw FBA send in a super chat. Thank you very much, FBA. Thank you. Freiermuth or Goddard this week? I have Goddard one spot ahead of him in today's video. As you can see the thumbnail on the bottom right, I've got Goddard just ahead of him, primarily because I don't even know who's playing quarterback. There's a chance it could be Mason Rudolph, which then at that point I'll have to adjust my projections for him. But yeah, for right now, for sure, it is Goddard, nonetheless, who plays quarterback for Freiermuth. Your follow-up question was Rachaad White or Foreman if Ramondre is out. At this point, I'm probably leaning towards Foreman in a kind of half PPR format. I think Ramondre could be a viable option in full PPR, but it's a little bit sketchier considering we're not 100% certain as to the volume of opportunity that he'll see if we get a full length, opportunity. I mean, if we get a full capacity Fournette in comparison to last week, it could change some things up, right? Because Rachaad White each of the last 2 weeks has fumbled and lost said fumbles. So they may want to go ahead and limit his overall rushing contribution going forward, which could impact his fantasy upside. So Foreman's probably the play there. Dominic says, thanks, man. Appreciate the insight. Glad I could help. Dominic, appreciate it. Let's see here. AEPM 16 says, hey, Andrew. If there is bad weather in Buffalo, who should I ride, Josh Allen or play Herbert? Goddard or Njoku? Follow. Okay, so baby steps. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's do this. NFL weather report. So this is what I was looking at earlier today when I was kind of, again, doing some of that last second research in regards to quarterback rankings for the video. So when I looked at the Buffalo weather, okay, so there is a very low % chance of rain. It is going to be about 24 degrees, which again is terrible. 13-mile-per-hour winds. Again, 13-mile-per-hour winds, not a big deal in my mind. I've seen multiple quarterbacks, especially Josh Allen, play through that. I've seen Josh Allen play through 15-mile-per-hour winds with rain. So, I guess it to each their own in terms of quarterback. But again, if Josh Allen's active, ready to go, and it's not going to be a snow game, he'll play over Herbert on my teams. As for your follow-up, Goddard or Njoku, I'll take Njoku there. I think the connection there with certainly with Deshaun Watson is going to continue to flourish. If you want more details in terms of statistics, again, the video for that is right down there on the bottom right corner. I talked about a lot of stats regarding Njoku today. Outside of that question, you had a follow-up, Damian Harris or Rachaad White at RB2. Again, if Harris is active, gets a full participation in practice by the time we get to Sunday here, by the time we get to Friday, excuse me, it'll just be an automatic that we'll play Harris. Let me go ahead and look at the injury report. So Damian Harris was limited Wednesday and Thursday. If we can get a full participation of practice by Friday, I will definitively say yes, he's the guy that we go with. Appreciate it. Wet Bandit sends in a super chat. Thank you very much, Wet Bandit. Says PPR, Danny Dimes, Tannehill, Tua, Brady, pick one. And why? All right, great. Daniel Dimes is the suggestion. This video is going to tell you why. Again, guys, I know a lot of you want to hear from my mouth, but the video, I just don't want to, rehash the 3-minute span that I went on, guys like, Njoku or Goddard or, all that kind of stuff. Daniel Dimes, Mike White, Deshaun Watson. So at this point, that's where I'm going to point you in the direction of. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Scroll down a little bit. 70% chance of snow in Buffalo on Saturday. Okay, well, we'll got to keep that monitored again. These are things that we'll have to wait and see. But yes, if it becomes a snow game, like if it is actively snowing during the game. Now, I know that you're saying 70% chance of snow on Saturday, right? If there's nothing on Sunday, I'm playing them, right? Because they'll clean that up. But if it's snowing on Sunday and we got weather issues where it's pretty much a blizzard out there because of the wind and everything, then yeah, we're gonna pivot to Herbert at that point. Andrew, I need a miracle. Yeah, pray to the fantasy gods, my man. Pray to the fantasy gods. Zay Jones or Darius Slayton in a full PPR. At this point, it's kind of hard not to play Zay Jones. 8 catches in 3 out of the last 4 games in a full PPR. It's almost impossible for me not to play him at that kind of capacity. Chiefs or Green Bay defense. I prefer the Chiefs this week. Again, I mentioned the Chiefs defense, I think like 5 weeks ago in a video in which we were talking about rest of season strength of schedule, primarily for this week. Anybody who plays against the Houston Texans offense typically finds themselves scoring a lot of points as a defense, and the Chiefs have had a couple good games here in a row that they can take advantage of. Obviously, last week a nice little pick six, padded their stats at the end, gave up a pretty massive lead, but nonetheless, the Chiefs are the team that I'm rolling with here. Half PPR, pick one, Andrew, Pittman, Swift, ETN, Rashad. At this moment, I probably am going ETN there. Second best option is Pittman. Hawkinson or Schultz. Got to check out the video. Thank you, Raymond. Mike Evans has been trash all season. Yes, he has. Well, not all season. He was good week 1. I'll tell you that much. Against Dallas, came down with a nice fade catch. The issue is the conception of him being quote unquote trash. I don't really think defines. I think it's a quick way to just say, hey, he hasn't been playing well, which, you know, in a lot of capacities isn't always on him. Brady sucks. His offensive line can't give him enough time to throw. And when Mike Evans has a 60-yard receiving touchdown, unfortunately, there's a holding call. And that's what pretty much nullified his performance last week from being a 4-point game to a 20-point game. It is unfortunate, but yeah, the idea of a player being trash just because they don't play well is, it's not always the answer, right? Now, I can tell you some players that haven't played well that are not great at football this season and have certainly not played well. But in the case of Mike Evans, a lot of it is just the players that surround him also. Elijah says T. Higgins, DJ Chark, or who's GA? I don't know who that is. So I'm probably going T. Higgins there because I don't want to play DJ Chark against Sauce Gardner. Thoughts on Slayton versus Washington? I mean, he played him a couple weeks ago, Andy. He played pretty well, to be honest, as well. If, in fact, we have a situation where the concussion protocol of Richie James is going to, hold him out going into the given week, Slayton probably gets more opportunity in terms of the receiving game alongside Isaiah Hodgins. But, yeah, I think Slayton would probably be a pretty solid play, over 10 points in a full PPR against Washington this week. Standard flex Kamara or Keenan Allen in a standard scoring format. I'm probably playing Kamara there. I don't love it, but I'm probably doing that just because Keenan Allen scoring a touchdown is always ever elusive. Let's see here. Lost Jimmy G and Murray. Had Purdy, Watson, and Goff. Playing Watson this week, question mark. Evans, Judy, Waddle, Christian Watson, Gallup. Which shoe do I sit? Yeah, you're playing Watson out of the quarterbacks. As for which wide receivers are you sitting this week? I'm probably sitting Evans and Gallup. I want to play Christian Watson. I want to play Jerry Judy. And then if it's between Evans or Waddle, I'll just take Waddle this week. Thank you. Rashad White or Deontay Johnson. Depends on scoring format, Kevin. I would probably lean towards Deontay Johnson in that full PPR, but in the half, I'll probably take Rashad White there. Hey, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well as well. Jonathan says, I need to start Mixon, Kamara, ETN. We got a tough one here, huh? All right, so here's the advantage, right? Mixon, at least we know for sure, is an absolute play. Hopefully he can find the end zone, and Joe Burrow and his 5 rushing touchdowns doesn't continue to leak into his overall production. Between these two, both of them haven't been playing well. I think Kamara's got a significantly easier matchup. There's no more Mark Ingram there. I think probably Kamara gets a little bit more of a tick upward of my confidence in terms of a vote. After tonight, do you think Kittle will be viable next week? I mean, okay, this is what I'll tell you. There is never a week where I think Kittle is not viable. So in terms of the viability of Kittle for future performances, I'm going to always start him regardless. Like, I've said this on other players. I said it in a video earlier today. When you draft players like Kittle, Kelsey, Mark Andrews, you are signing a invisible contract with the fantasy god saying that you have to start them every week. There's no conversation about them being, benched in any sort of capacity, even if they're on a little bit of a downtrot. So is his viability going to go up next week? What do they play? Washington? We're going to have to look at the matchup. But again, we knew that Kittle versus Seattle, based on the video that I talked about earlier today, they've always liked to utilize him heavily in the matchup. The last 3 games prior to today, they targeted Kittle 9, 10, and 12 times against Seattle. I'm actually curious, how many total targets did Kittle have today? He only had 5, and he still came out with a pretty good day. So I would consider that lucky. But I was also mentioning that last week he had I think it was a season low of ADOT, 2.8 yards of average depth of target. A lot of it had to do with the fact that he wasn't making plays after the catch. Today, made a bunch of plays after the catch. And that's a difference maker, right? His talent is just more than just about a lot of the guys on the field. Judy or Zay Jones? I'll take Judy there. Gabe Davis or Foreman? For sure take Foreman. Let's see here. Who should I go with? Dalton, Lawrence, or Tua if there's snow on Saturday? I'm leaning towards Lawrence there this week. Start Mike Evans over Chris Moore? Probably not. You know what? If Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks are out, I'll probably play Chris Moore there this week. I'm not even joking. Hey, Andrew, should I start Najee Harris over Godwin at the flex? And I have Mixon, I have Elliott starting. My wide receivers are Allen and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do I play Najee over Godwin? Najee over Godwin in a half PPR and a full PPR. I would take Godwin there. Thank you. Who will win? Mahomes, Eckler. Are you just telling me the full teams? Yeah, I can't tell you who's gonna win. We can cross-reference it as to who's ranked higher, in my rankings overall, and maybe at that point we can figure out who's gonna win. But I'd have to legitimately sit down and go individually between every single team and every single player to figure that kind of a question out. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. A couple more super chats that were sent in. Just want to address them really quickly. I do appreciate you guys sending them in my direction. Apologies for the delay. We had a question sent in from Lucky Slevin. He says, full PPR. Hurting at running back. Go with Cordero Patterson or keep an eye on Strong if Harris doesn't go. At this point, yeah, I think we'd probably like to... We'd like to keep our options open. So if in fact we're in a situation where Harris doesn't go and neither does Ramondre, we'd love to play Pierre Strong there at that capacity. As for your follow-up question, Kmet or Knox, yeah, it's absolutely without a doubt in my mind Cole Kmet. Like I mentioned earlier today, Cole Kmet in the last 5 games that he has played with a starting Justin Fields has scored 1 touchdown per game on average. So pretty good stats across the board there. I think it's like 12.8 fantasy points per game and a half PPR. I have Fields as well. Yeah, you're stacking those two. But yeah, we want to keep our options open there, Lucky, in terms of if in fact we do get information in ample time to make the adjustment of playing Strong with Ramondre and or Damian Harris out, we do that. Otherwise, if one of those other two are active, we then just play Cordero Patterson this week against New Orleans. Thank you. Sip sends in a question, says, full PPR, I have Goddard and I have Waller on the injured reserve. If they play, who should I drop from my bench, if anyone? Slayton, Chark, Knight, Campbell, DJ Moore, Pickens. I'm on a bye, by the way. Okay, so considering you're on a bye week, I wouldn't drop anybody. You don't have to drop anybody. So you basically have the privilege of being able to just hold your cards. Let's see who plays well this week. And then on Tuesday, you can drop whoever and pull them out of the injured reserve. Once we get there, we'll have a better idea. Monday, or this upcoming Monday, we'll have a live stream, and hopefully by then we can kind of get an idea as to Slayton, Chark, Knight, and who is playing well. There's obviously going to be injuries. There's obviously going to be that kind of stuff that's taken into account. But for right now, if I had to immediately drop one, it's Paris Campbell. I think the longevity for the remainder of the season is the guy that I'm looking to drop out of the pair, if in fact Dallas Goedert's active this week like I expect. Blair Davis sends in a question. Thank you very much, Blair. Says, should I flex Zay Jones or Elijah Moore in a full PPR? Probably play Zay Jones. Again, 8 catches, 3 out of the last 4 weeks. Pretty tough to not play him at the capacity. And there's a potential in which Corey Davis does clear concussion protocol. And if he does, at that point, Elijah Moore really not that good of a start. Ibrahim sends in a question. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Says, Zay Jones, Gabe Davis, Patterson, Hollywood, Slayton, Njoku, Mostert, Lenny, Hubbard. Could you rank them in terms of flex? Yeah, I can do that. I just have to take a little bit of a time here to kind of look at okay, so this is what I'll do. Let's go first to last. In terms of flex plays in the given week, I'm assuming it's half PPR because there wasn't a format mentioned. Flex plays in the week. Boom, boom. Patterson, Davis, Hollywood. Okay, Njoku's number 1. Number 2 is probably Zay Jones. Number 3 is Cordero. No, number 3 is Hubbard. Number 4 is Cordero. Number 5 is Slayton. Number 6 is Lenny. Number 8 is Hollywood. Number 9 is Gabe Davis. Something of that extent. That's kind of where I'm mainly thinking, Ibrahim. Again, by the way, guys, if you guys haven't checked out the Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Ibrahim, generous enough, send in a nice super chat. But again, $10 a month, you get all my rankings up to date every single week. Once on Thursday, once on Sunday morning with flex rankings. As of right now, what do we have here? Let me pull it up. So we have top 60 running backs with a couple extra guys that we're not 100% certain on, like Jeff Wilson or Ramondre. We have top 90 wide receivers, top 30 tight ends, top 32 quarterbacks, top 120 flex, half PPR and full PPR. And then, of course, top 14 kickers and top 12 defenses at the moment. Could adjust, of course, going forward. But yeah, that's kind of the thought process. So if we're starting a couple there, Ibrahim, it's most likely playing Zay Jones and Joku. And if you had a third option to roll this week out of the capacity, it's in a half PPR, probably going to be Hubbard. Thank you. Yerbo sends in a question. Thank you very much, Yerbo. Says full PPR, wide receiver 2 in a flex, Waddle and Evans, or Najee Harris. Waddle and Evans or Najee Harris. Yeah, probably just go Waddle and Najee Harris. I mean, I don't love it, but that's probably the current circumstance that we're in. If it does end up snowing there, would then just pivot to Evans, because it wouldn't be worth playing any of the wide receivers in a snow game. Cinco 2X says full PPR, Brian Robinson or ETN. I'll take ETN there in this week. Thielen or Peoples-Jones. I will take Peoples-Jones in a full PPR scoring format. Follow that up with second league, Brian Robinson or Damian Harris in a full PPR. If Brian Robinson gets a nice full practice tomorrow, and so does Damian Harris, I would rather have, most likely, I'd rather have Damian Harris if he gets a full practice tomorrow. If he doesn't, I will take Brian Robinson. Even if he's limited in plays, I just don't want to deal with it. And then Brandon Cook's going to play? Probably not. Let me see the injury report. I mean, after they didn't trade him, the expectation was that he wasn't going to play for them for the remainder of the year, and that he would just go back to just kind of claiming injury, just to kind of make it easy. He had a limited practice today, so we'll keep an eye on the calf for tomorrow. Let's see here. Final one I need to address. Admire My Moonsault says, Fields or Burrow? I will take Fields this week. It's in a standard 4-point per passing touchdown league. Yeah, Fields for sure. I mentioned it in this video right here. Fields over the course of the last 5 games, I think it's 5, maybe it's 8. I don't remember. Somebody can tack it. He's averaging 26.1 fantasy points per game. Kind of tough to keep up with that. Even though Joe Burrow has been playing extremely well, it's tough to keep up with that. All right, getting back to some questions here, shall we? Pacheco or Mike Williams this week in the flex? Really good question. I'm probably in the direction of leaning towards Pacheco, very slightly ahead of Mike Williams there, though. Dalton Schultz or Brian Robinson in the flex, half PPR? Ooh, really good one. I mean, look, typically... man, that is actually a really good question. I think it's probably Brian Robinson, just to be safe. Go with Goff or pick up Mike White or Daniel Jones or Tannehill or Heineke. Yeah, I would much rather. I'd feel far more comfortable rolling with Daniel Jones this week against Washington. I think Goff, based on the fact that the New York Jets are allowing the least amount of points to opposing quarterbacks since week 7. They've quite literally only allowed 4 passing touchdowns in the last 4 games, and they have gotten 5 interceptions on opposing quarterbacks. It speaks volumes. So I do believe that Goff is on a little bit of a heat streak, but I also believe that it is going to be difficult for him to actualize a lot of fantasy points because of said matchup. I'd rather play Daniel Jones in a more advantageous matchup and or Mike White, but I do have Daniel Jones ahead of him. So, Andrew, in a half PPR, are you going ETN over Pittman with a good matchup? Yeah, I'm probably playing ETN over Pittman. Yes. By the way, I think ETN has a good matchup. Let's not confuse that either. I think, of course, Pittman has got the best possible matchup he could find out there, but it doesn't mean that it's a guarantee for opportunity. The targets haven't been a consistent stream to the point where I can blindly trust him in comparison to ETN. Even though last week they played against Tennessee, the dude still had 17 rushing attempts. If he's able to get himself 15 to 20 attempts going against Dallas, the guy's going to be the ETN of old that we know and love. What's your opinion on Chubb and Amari going forward? Man, look, here was the thing about Chubb, right? Earlier this season, we had an indication based on the strength of schedule videos that I put together that Chubb was going to be in trouble at this time of the year. And that hopefully Deshaun Watson's presence would make it a little bit easier. But the issue is, again, they're tough matchups. Now he goes against Baltimore. I do believe Chubb is an elite running back. And behind this offensive line, when they play well, it doesn't matter the matchup. They're going to play well and they'll dominate. But at the current moment, I mean, you got to start him. As for Amari, he's kind of he has to prove it to me. It's tough for me to just immediately just play him in comparison. I think Chubb has shown me enough over the last couple years to where I can just blindly trust him. New York Jets or Tennessee defense this week? Oh, sorry, that's in week 16. Week 16 probably Tennessee, because I know Tennessee plays Houston. So yeah, I'll take Tennessee's defense in week 16. Thank you again, no problem, Sip. Bro, please answer PPR. Fields, White, Tua. Perfect question. Perfect question. I'll tell you why. Because this video right here that I posted earlier today, it answers it purely. So if you want to go and check that out, there's timestamps down in the description. Be sure to leave the like there. I'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. We saw a couple more super chats sent in. Tua or Watson. We're playing Watson this week. I have Watson at number 12. I have Tua at 16. Brian Roman says, Russell Wilson, Heineke, Dalton, or Desmond Ridder. Heineke's the highest ranked of the group. Has no one seen this video right here? No one? Everybody's asking tight end and quarterback questions. Like, I made the video for a reason. I know, hey, listen, you guys have work, you guys have school, you got different responsibilities that you got to take care of. You can't be always watching Andrew's videos, but hey, if you got a question, man, these videos are a primary source to get that immediately answered without even having to, wait or send in a super chat or anything like that. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you guys. Let's see here. Zay Jones or DPJ? Yeah, at the moment, it's probably still Zay Jones there. Etienne has a bad matchup. Totally disagree. Again, go look at stats from week 7 through 13. Dallas Cowboy versus running backs. Just go look at the stats. That's all I gotta say. Don't look at your fantasy apps, because your fantasy apps are wrong. Purely, they don't do the research that I do, and that's the difference maker, dude. That's the difference maker. That's why I do this all day long, to collect those exact statistics so that I can edge out every single other, fantasy, I guess, content creator or contributor or anybody that would try to give you advice, so that you don't make the wrong mistake because you think it's a bad matchup, because it truly is not. Just play DK tonight, half PPR. Who do I start and sit? Devontae. I'm assuming this is that Devontae Adams? Okay. I'm assuming that's Devontae Adams. Hopefully it's not like Devontae Parker. I'm assuming it's Adams. Godwin, Chubb, Monty, B-Rob, Knight, White, Judy, Cooper. If let's say you're starting 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex, right? You've already started DK. Obviously, you have to play Devontae Adams. And then you follow that up by playing Chubb, and you have Brian Robinson as your running backs. And then it's basically a matter of who we're playing in the flex. And at this point, it's between Godwin and Monty and Judy. At that point, I'm just playing Godwin this week. If it's snowing in Buffalo, sit Diggs. No, I don't think you. Wait, who else do you have? I have Amon, Rock, Keenan, and Garrett. Whew, yeah, at that point, yes. If it is snowing in Buffalo and it is a visual disaster and it's a blizzard at some extent, right? At that point, considering what you have as a backup plan, sure. But if it's like, hey, Andrew, should I sit Stephon Diggs for Deontay Johnson? I would rather play Stephon Diggs. You know what I mean? Like, there are kind of like tiers to the idea. And considering you have Amon Ra and Garrett Wilson and Keenan, like, yeah, you are okay to pivot. Chubb's problem is Wyatt Teller isn't healthy. Yeah, look, even with an banged up Wyatt Teller, he's still a really good guard in the league, right? Still one of the best out there. But yeah, you're not wrong in the idea that their offensive line is the biggest idea. Is Christian McCaffrey the RB1? What do you mean? Like, for the remainder of the season? Is Christian McCaffrey RB1 now? Are we talking about like next year or for the remainder of this season? Because I would still argue that the best running back for the remainder of the season is still going to be Derrick Henry. In terms of, like, if we're counting from this week to week 18, who's going to score the most points? It'll be Derrick Henry at running back. Now, if we're talking about who's going to score the most points at running back by the end of the season, I don't know. Where's McCaffrey at in comparison to the other lads at running back? Let's see here. Running back position, half PPR. McCaffrey is sitting at 257 now. He's got a long ways to go to catch up to Jacobs. That's going to be a tough trot. Eckler's on his back as well. Eckler just needs 11 and he pretty much catches. It's going to be tough. I truly do believe it's going to be a 4-way contest between Jacobs, McCaffrey, Eckler. Henry is 30 points behind Jacobs. I can assure you that after week 16's 30-yard bomb, he's going to drop 30 points on Houston. So after he does that, he'll have effectively caught up probably, and it's going to be a very interesting race to the end there. But one of those 4 are going to be the RB1 at the end of the season. We did see a couple super chats sent in. Just want to address them really quickly. Where art thou? Okay, so we had Drags. Let me see here. Drags. Is there a message attached to it? Nothing. Juju or DPJ? I'm probably going Juju there. If no Ramondre, no Harris, do I start Bam, Knight, Pierre, Strong? I'd play Pierre Strong there in a standard format. Jamal or DPJ in a half PPR? Probably. Jonathan. I probably play DPJ there. Jamal Williams is starting to really bother me as of late. Where's Drag's question? Drags? Where's your question, my man? Let me see. Let me look this up. Drag says, just play. Okay, yeah, we already took care of this one. So yeah, it's Devontae Adams with Chubb, along with Brian Robinson, and then of course we're playing the Godwin flex. Appreciate it. Okay, so we took care of that one. As for Archangel, let's see what you're at, my man. Archangel, where are you at? Okay, another one. Says, I have a bad team, but I made the playoffs. I need to risk Marquise Brown or Evan Ingram. Oh my gosh. Marquise Brown or Evan Ingram, huh? Wow. I think I play Evan Ingram there. I'm going to be totally honest. I think I play Evan Ingram there. Just for like, hey, I need the high upside. Like, let's just risk it for the biscuit. Like I mentioned this on today's video earlier, the 33.7 points that Evan Ingram put up last week is the 10th best half PPR tight end performance since 2003. It is a legendary performance. When I say that, it's not hyperbole, it is not hyperbolic in any sort of capacity, it is just facts. So at the moment, it is I'm kind of on the hype train. Like I want to hope that Ingram can get it done and that McCoy's going to struggle a little bit there against Denver secondary, my man. We had another question sent in. Okay, so we already took care of Archangel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see what else the chat has to say. Waddle or Devonta Smith? I'll take Devonta Smith there. Dak or two? I'll take Dak. Who do I flex? Knight. We have Rashad White. We have Cooper in a full PPR. Jeff, that's a really good question. I'd probably play Amari Cooper there. Yeah, I probably play Amari Cooper there. It's a little bit risky, but that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning in comparison to those two other guys. Like, I can get 10 points out of these guys. I just feel like Cooper could very easily be 15 with his eyes closed. He just needs to catch a couple more of these targets, man. A little bit more accuracy from Watson, and it's all sales go, and it's just an absolute feast for these wide receivers of Cleveland. Damian Harris or Rashad White full PPR. If Harris is the lone back, there's no Ramondre, and he's fully healthy by tomorrow, he's the preferred back of the two. Should I start Justin Herbert or Fields? Again, this video right here, bottom right, even though they have a tight end on the cover, it is a tight end quarterback rankings video. I have Justin Fields ranked number 3 and Justin Herbert ranked number 5. So hopefully you can go over there, even though I told you the answer, and click the like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Speaking of clicking the like button, if you guys haven't done so already, there's 89 likes on today's live stream. You guys can do me a solid. Click that like button. Be greatly appreciated. We had John send in a super chat, said, what's your take on Rodgers over Watson? What's your take? Wait, I'm sorry. What's your take on starting Rodgers over Watson? I am not starting Rodgers over Watson. So are you asking why I'm not? Well, primarily because Aaron Rodgers hasn't been very consistent this year. He doesn't have as much mobile upside as Deshaun Watson has. And quite frankly, I truly do believe that Aaron Jones in the running game is going to tear through the LA Rams based on what I've seen from the Rams over the last couple of weeks. And, the consistency of success that we've seen from Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon when they've taken on the Rams defense over the course of the last couple of years in the matchups that they've seen up against each other. LaFleur has a pretty good game plan against, that Rams defense. Aaron Donald's probably out once again, leaning in the direction of Watson for sure there. And I mean, when we're looking at the weather as a whole, it does not promote high, especially in Lambeau on Monday night. It doesn't promote an idea of like Aaron Rodgers throwing it 35 to 40, 50 times in that game in comparison to what Watson will have to deal with going up against Baltimore. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Zeke or Dobbins? Yeah, it's 100% Zeke. Again, what is it? 5 or 6 games in a row of 15 plus fantasy points. There's no way I'm not starting that. No way. These are the kind of questions. Like, I understand why you're asking about Dobbins because he didn't really have a high upside game, but consistency is key. Consistency is key. Hey Andrew, what do you think the top 12 picks will be next year in your opinion? I'm not even thinking about that, to be totally honest. I do not even know. Because the top 12 picks next season is purely going to still rely upon what the next 4 weeks look like, and also on top of that, what the draft looks like. So, to be determined. I can assure you that Justin Jefferson is probably going to be a top 2 pick. I can tell you that much in a full PPR. It'll be in the conversation in terms of half PPR, but I don't think I'd be comfortable taking him number 1 overall. But it'll get there. It'll get there because Justin Jefferson just continues to improve every year. Dab says, are Jeff Wilson and Dameon Pierce droppable? Droppable. Dameon Pierce is droppable, yes, because he's not going to play this week. Then he has Tennessee next week. So, yeah, you might as well just drop him. If 17 is the championship, you're probably not going to play him there either. Is Jeff Wilson droppable based on the last 2 weeks injury? Yes, technically he is. I would venture to say he is. Dab, thank you. Jeff Carpenter sends in a question. Jeff, where is your question at, my man? Where is Mr. Carpenter's question? Nothing? It's Jeff Carpenter. Why am I saying James? My bad. Apologies, Jeff. Amari or Zonovan Knight? Yeah, it's probably Zonovan Knight and a half. Amari Cooper in a full. Yeah. Okay. I already got your question. I made sure to get. Okay, cool. We're on the same page. Awesome. Thank you. We already answered that a little bit earlier. We're going with Cooper. Denver or Dallas defense? I currently have Dallas ahead of Denver, but it's not by too many spots. I'm kind of in a position where I have to play Dallas just because I know what that defense is capable of, and I know that if they show up in the right circumstance, they could literally put up 20 points in any given week. Do you think the Titans versus Texans is still a good look, appealing option in week 16? Yes, it is the best available option. I know that the Titans secondary is terrible, but the Texans are as bad as they come in terms of an offense. How you doing, Andrew? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Let's see here. Pick 1, PPR, Etienne, Njoku, or Zay Jones. Yeah, I'll take Etienne there. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I would probably play Etienne. May not be the smartest idea because I think Zay Jones could probably score himself 14 points in his sleep. Like 7 catches, 70 yards could be very much so, accomplished by him. But for right now, with Trayvon Diggs most likely shadowing him for majority of that game, I'll just take Etienne there. My first pick next year, again, this is going to purely matter on where he lands. Everybody, we're gonna all pray together for the fantasy gods. If Bijan Robertson ends up on the Atlanta Falcons, he's a first-round pick. That's all I'm saying. He's a first-round pick. If he ends up on a team that likes to run the ball, and there's no impact of another running back, being there and stealing work, we're all good. Big problem, Andrew. Full PPR starting lineup follows as is. We have Jalen Hurts, JT, Etienne, Hill, Devonta Smith, Schultz, Garrett Wilson. I don't see a problem here. My bench has David Njoku and Hubbard. Really want to squeeze in Njoku. Okay. You really want to squeeze in Njoku, huh? All right. So this is what you do. You play Garrett Wilson instead of Devonta Smith, and you bench Devonta Smith, and you play Njoku there. I mean, that's the only other pivot. Like if you're like, hey, John, you're definitively saying you have to play Njoku this week, then that's the move you make. You play Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 2, and you bench Devonta Smith, and you flex Njoku. But I probably only ever say okay to that, reluctantly still, but I would only ever say okay to that if in fact Goddard is active this week. Hey, Andrew, who would you play in the flex? We have Stevenson, Dobbins, or Waddle. Standard 4-point per passing touchdown league. Out of this group of players, considering Stevenson most likely doesn't play, Waddle's been a absolute disaster. I play J.K. Dobbins this week in a standard league. Thoughts on Driscoll at tight end? Yes. Mentioned it in this video earlier today. I have him ranked at tight end 17. So, again, could be fine. But I think he'll probably be like Taysom Hill, where he's going to be a 1 out of every 4 weeks kind of guy. Could be wrong. There could be a possibility where Houston comes out and they want to utilize him every other series at a high capacity, and he throws another touchdown. He gets a lot of rushing yards because they're running that zone read. If in fact they're going to design, zone read options for him, and they're going to continue to implement that every single week, then yes, he's going to have value, definitely. But until we get a greater baseline of multiple performances to kind of back up that, sentiment, it's going to be tough to trust them, even with the tight end eligibility on Yahoo this week. P. Ryan viable this week? Probably not, no. The only reason P. Ryan scored was because it was the 2-minute drill. 55 seconds, not 55 seconds. It was probably like a minute and a half left on the clock. They get down into the red zone and somebody whiffs a complete tackle. I mean, just ridiculous. Are your rankings for PPR leagues? They are for half PPR, Jeff. Primarily, again, like I usually mention, if you play standard league, you play full PPR. I want to meet everyone in the middle, so I put out rankings for half PPR. Otherwise, if I was to put rankings out for all primary positions, I would be there for hours trying to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, it would, the videos would be 3 hours long instead, and Andrew would have no time to do anything but work and sleep. Let's see here. Patterson or Gibson in a full PPR? Probably leaning towards Patterson there. Dan Waddle's my wide receiver one. Me too, Raymond. Me too. And it sucks. Let's hope he has a bounce back here. Juwan Johnson or Cole Kmet? Have Kittle and BBM. Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. Let's hope it's as somebody was asking earlier, let's hope that the viability of Kittle continues. I mean, again, either way, you have him there, so it's a best ball. You got to keep it rolling. Saquon or Mike Williams in a non-PPR? Probably Saquon there. Can I trust Higgins, or should I start Elijah Moore, Pickens, or Jahan Dotson? The issue is that I don't trust any of the other guys either. Elijah Moore could be deemed irrelevant if, in fact, Corey Davis clears concussion protocol. Pickens is super inconsistent at times, low target counts, and Jahan Dotson's kind of a wild card in this capacity. So I think I just play T. Higgins blindly out of the bunch. Schultz or Njoku? Yeah, again, this video right here, you see who's on the cover? It's Schultz. The answer is Schultz. If you want more information, the video can give you a little bit of perspective on the matter. Tanner, I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and read these super chat. Thank you very much. Tanner says, in a 2-quarterback league, full PPR, I have Dak, Rodgers, JT, Chubb, Pollard, DK, Kittle. Okay, pretty good looking team. Started off okay today, right? Kittle pretty much was helping out DK Metcalf at that capacity. Nonetheless, I think DK had himself probably like 12 points in a full PPR. Not the best week, but he got the job done. Need one. Higgins, Watson, Evans, Zay Jones. I mean, really, it's easy in my mind. Without a doubt, I am playing Christian Watson in every sort of capacity that I have available to me. Christian Watson blindly is the best play there. In a half PPR, the last 4 weeks, minimum of 19 fantasy points in each of those games. He's averaging 2 touchdowns per game since that Dallas performance. So it is impossible for me not to suggest Watson there. As for your follow-up, is Rodgers/Watson too risky? I think Watson is a perfectly fine play. The fact that he was able to take on Cincinnati's defense in secondary, specifically, who gave Patrick Mahomes so much trouble the week prior. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had I think it was like at times in that game was a sub 50% passing completion percentage against Cincinnati secondary. Cincinnati is not an easy defense to play against. I mentioned it. They're playoff ready. They're good to go. They're sending it. So, and even with all the injuries that they've had to face, they've still been extremely consistent defensively, whether it's in the secondary or up front. So, at the moment, considering Watson's performance last week against said matchup, I don't think that Baltimore is that much more difficult. If anything, it's probably a little bit more of an advantageous matchup considering the run-stop defense and the force of having to pass for majority of the game in the case of Watson. So, yeah, I'd like Dak and Watson there as a combo. Brendan sends in a super chat, says, thank you for the answers. Glad I can help. Thank you, Brendan. Luis says, Rashad White or Damian Harris is RB2. If Damian Harris gets a full structured practice tomorrow, full capacity, there's no limitation, anything of that extent, I would play him. Otherwise, we'll probably then just pivot to Rashad White this Sunday. Thank you. We'll basically have the answer by tomorrow. You can travel to the Patriots. What is it? The Patriots official website where they have their injury report. You just go to their website, Patriots.com. They have their website. DK 12 points for the playoffs is not it. I mean, what are you going to do about it? You can't. You can't do anything. He got the job done. He got 12 points. Do we want 20? Yes. But are you going to get that from every single player? No. I think it's a pipe dream to think that every single player on your team every single week should score a high volume of points. You know what I mean? So DK getting 12 is perfectly fine. It's better than getting 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take 12. Truly, I will. I'll take it. Not a big deal to me. It's not 20, but I'll take 12. Could have been an even bigger disaster, all things considered. Ibrahim says, my internet messed up. Not sure if I got my super chat. Yeah, I did get the super chat. I'll go ahead and I'll readdress your question in specific, Ibrahim. Okay, so this was the dealio. To order it, the flexes, right, in order. So it's Njoku, Zay Jones, and then third option was, let me look at the rest of these players. Third option was Hubbard. Fourth was Patterson. Then it was Hollywood, Slayton, Lenny, Gabe Davis. Okay, that order. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. I do appreciate you guys clicking that like button, getting us over 100 likes. I want to go ahead and answer a couple more questions here before we go ahead and pivot off to a different subject here, per se. Olave or Hollywood Brown? I'll take... Honestly, I think I'm probably just playing Olave this week in a full PPR. Probably. Because I think he's very safe to be a 10-point play. Probably has a little bit more upside based on matchup and quarterback. Tanner says, thank you very much. Just worried about too invested in the Cowboys-Packers game. Totally understand it. Totally do. But I think at this point, yeah, it's definitely Watson, my man. He's too good. Anvesh says, hey, Andrew. After thinking a lot whether to start or bench Kittle, I went with him, paid off big. As my RB2 half PPR, should I play Swift or Hubbard and or Rex Burkhead? I benched Walker today. If you're going to play one of those options in a half PPR, I would probably... I'm leaning towards Hubbard based on total volume of touches. What is it? I think he's gotten himself 17 touches this last week, and even the week before that had himself 17 touches. It is very difficult to compete with that high of a volume of opportunity, especially in a run-first offense. So I'm kind of leaning in the favor of Hubbard in a half PPR. If it was a full, you could convince me to go Swift there. I probably would suggest Swift, in fact. Njoku or Foreman in a full PPR, I'd play Njoku. Let's see here. Singletary, McKinnon. I'm already starting Pacheco or Pierre if he gets the backfield. If he gets the backfield, I'll take Pierre Strong. Certainly. Chiefs or Eagles defense? Goody. Currently, I have the Chiefs defense ahead of the Eagles. I mean, I think they're both really good. I just think that the garbage time that will eventually be racked up by Daniel Jones could be worrisome. So I probably just roll with Chiefs this week here. Waddle or Judy? I'll take Judy. Gabe Davis, James Cook, Bam Knight, or Josh Palmer in a flex full PPR. I probably am suggesting Bam Knight. Second best option is Josh Palmer there. Third is probably James Cook, then Gabe Davis. I don't trust Gabe Davis. I would never play him anymore. I've stopped playing him after like 4 weeks ago. Super flex, Desmond Ridder or Dalton. I'm probably playing Ridder there. I have him ranked higher. I think the rushing upside, and to be totally honest, even me thinking about it, okay? On Monday, I made a couple references to Algier and said that they're transitioning to the younger, part of this team because, they already kind of believe that their season's over after the bye. That's not even the case. Marcus Mariota, knee injury, going to the injured reserve is going to require surgery. So it wasn't a matter of Desmond Ridder being given the starting spot because they wanted to give, maybe they wanted to give him the spot, but it wasn't a matter of wants more than its necessity because Mariota needed to get his knee fixed. So I think putting the rookie in here after all those weeks of learning from behind Mariota against the matchup like New Orleans isn't favorable, but I think the rushing upside and maybe just surprise factor could give us a little bit of a boost there for Ridder. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed. I just don't like Dalton. I just think that in terms of fantasy, he doesn't have the upside. It's tough to find that with him. Let me see here. Joey, thank you very much for that super chat. Says, Andrew, just wanted to thank you for all the hard work and dedication, information, and the wonderful show you produce. Thank you very much, bro. Patreon for years. I appreciate that, Joey. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that very much. Goes a long way. All right, let's see here. Weird one. Connor or Watson in the flex? Henry. Why, Henry? Why? You went ahead and you took both the players that I had on my thumbnails, and you're trying to pin me against myself, huh? Henry, why? Why have you done this to me, Henry? Badgley or Koo? Thoughts? I have Koo ranked higher as of this week. Let me confirm this actually, because Younghoe Koo has been really good at kicking. Guys, by the way, if in fact you don't have a solid kicker this week, and Younghoe Koo, because he was on bye last week, is available, could be a really good play coming off of 3 consecutive consistent games. Yes, I have Younghoe Koo at number 9 on Patreon compared to Badgley at 10 going into the week. So yeah, I like Younghoe Koo a lot there. Schultz, Hawkinson, or Njoku again. The video right here will answer your question. Again, Schultz is on the thumbnail for a reason. We're going Schultz. Thank you. If you want more information, more stats, all that kind of jazz, hopefully the video will be able to bring that to you in a capacity to where you can make your own educated decisions on the matter and feel confident in doing so. You know what I mean? Thank you. Appreciate it. They decided to start Ritter now that Pitts. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. Yeah, I know. When we were all hoping that we could get a quarterback change, it just didn't happen. Yeah, Pitts is, man, unfortunate year, man. An unfortunate year to say the least. Pacheco were in Najee Harris in the flex. I'll take Pacheco there. How long have I been here for, guys? About an hour? Okay, not bad. We're going to go for a little bit more because I got to get everything ready for tomorrow's video. But either way, Huntley or Goff, I would play Goff this week. Josh Gonzalez says Badgley or Zerline. I'll take Badgley this week. Yeah, I'll take Badgley. PPR, DPJ, Dobbins, Judy, Damian Harris, or Rashad White. Probably Judy there first and foremost. And then if Harris is at a full capacity, he's the second best option. And then it's probably DPJ. And then Dobbins, then White in a full PPR. Let's see here. Half PPR, I need 2 out of Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Michael Pittman Jr., Chris Olave, or David Montgomery. I like Brian Robinson and Michael Pittman Jr. out of this group. Andrew. Which quarterbacks do I start? Goff, Huntley, Ritter, or Tannehill? Out of the group, I have, truth be told, I do have Goff ranked the highest. Where do I have Tannehill in comparison to him? No, I don't. I have Tannehill at 18. I have Goff at 19. Who else do you have? Huntley. I have Huntley at 22. I have Ritter at, where's Ritter? I have Ritter at 23. So 18, 19, 22, and 23. Tannehill ranked the highest. Jamal or Dobbins? I'll take Dobbins this week. Lockett broke his finger. Did he really? Just hearing that right now. Stuart, thank you very much. I appreciate that. ETN or Zonovan Knight? I'll take ETN this week. Listen, I know that Zonovan Knight, trust me. Listen, I am on the Zonovan hype train. I mean, I was the conductor last week. I was the one honking the horn and driving the bus. Unfortunately, I'm scared out of my mind about that Detroit Lions run-stop defense. Truly am. I know that Zonovan Knight he's talented enough to make it to where the matchup does not matter. But, we're talking about guys like Saquon, Dalvin Cook, who have been nullified, absolutely deemed irrelevant when they've taken on these defenses. And I do not believe that Zonovan and or the run-blocking attacks from those teams are, worse than what... Or, sorry, I don't believe that I don't believe that those teams are worse than what, Zonovan and the Jets are going to put forward. So a little bit rough there. A little bit rough. Brian Robinson, Dylan, or Drake London? I'll take Brian Robinson there, Mo. I'll take Brian Robinson. Corey Davis or Adam Thielen? I'll take Adam Thielen this week. Elise says pick 2, non-PPR. All right, awesome. Zonovan Knight, Deontay Foreman, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, first and foremost, is my suggestion. In a non-PPR scoring format, I probably go Foreman next there. Henry says it's real. Dude, I don't... Okay, so let's say, for example, it's a real question. Connor versus Christian Watson. I don't know if I can choose. It's like choosing between 2 children. Like, you can't choose that, right? So which one's your favorite? No, I can't. It's not a thing. Therefore, I'm going to ask you, Henry, who's the rest of your team? Because I'm looking to replace somebody else to make sure both those guys play. Now, if you're going to tell me, Andrew, everybody else on my team is ranked higher than those two players, goodness gracious, I'm going to have a heart attack here. Connor or Watson? I probably play Connor there. I mean, yeah, I probably play Connor there. I mean, I don't want to. I want to play both of them, but yeah, I probably play Connor there. I'm actually curious. Where do I have them ranked in a half PPR right now? Let's see here. Flex position. Going into the week, where's Connor? Connor's at 11. Yeah, Connor's ahead of him, purely. Connor's ahead of him. Yeah, I have Connor at 11, and I have Watson at 19. So in my rankings, it's not close. But when I talk about it, it hurts. It hurts. Kevin Smith says, missed out on Kittle tonight. I need one flex to flex out of Schultz, London, or Burks. Yeah, I'd play Schultz this week. Let's see here. PPR, Jones, Juju, Olave, or Pacheco. I'm assuming this is Aaron Jones, correct? This is Aaron Jones, Constantino. I'm playing Aaron Jones there. Taysom Hill or Conklin. I'd only play Taysom Hill if Juwan Johnson's out on Sunday. Otherwise, it's Conklin. Evans, Jamal, or Slayton in a half PPR. I'll take Jamal and or Slayton before Evans. But it'll be Jamal, Slayton, and Evans in that order. Connor because Dobbs will take away catches. I mean, to be honest, even if Dobbs takes away catches, I still think Watson's going to be a stud. Swift or Akers? Give me Swift. I think Akers could score 10 points, but it's going to be a tough task on hand in Green Bay, even with how advantageous that matchup is. I think I mentioned on Tuesday, Green Bay has given up 80 receiving yards in each game to opposing running backs since week 4, and they've given up 10 rushing touchdowns to opposing running backs since week 4. That's 10 games, 10 touchdowns. So it's a good matchup. You know, he could be a great play, but I mean, Akers just, doesn't look great. Lockett broke a bone in the index finger. So this basically means that he's going to be missing time for the future, right? So okay, so maybe this is going to pose the question if, what's his name? Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin could be a play in future weeks here. I mean, Marquise Goodwin last week, week 14, had himself 15 fantasy points. So we could be in a conversation here where Lockett could miss the rest of the playoffs. With Lockett out for the playoffs, yeah, here we go. I have the bye. 3 wide receivers, full PPR. Would you rather have Jeff Wilson, Corey Davis, assuming they get healthy, or Jamison Williams in the flex? I have T and Olave. Are we talking about week 16 already, my man? I mean, at this point, I don't even know what we're gonna look at in week 16. Like, quite frankly, I don't even know who these teams play. So, Graham, at this moment, I don't have an answer for you at this point. I'm so focused on week 15 and getting us to week 16 that I'm like tunneling. Albino says, give me the rundown on Pierre Strong, another wild card running back in PPR. Thanks for putting me on Bam Night last week. Give me the rundown on Pierre Strong or another wild card running back. I mean, the rundown on Pierre Strong is pretty evident by itself. I mean, if you look at what Ramondre Stevenson did in terms of opportunity when Damian Harris was out, it's a clear indication that if in fact they only have either Ramondre or Damian Harris, one or the two, they're only using that running back. They do not give sprinkles of touches to other backs. This is a one-back offense, and that is how it's going to be continuing. So with that in consideration, if there's no Ramondre and there's no Damian Harris, Pierre Strong would be the clear number 1 running back, and with that the case, he'd have the full workload of opportunity, which most likely looks like 10-plus attempts, probably a sprinkle of 4-plus targets, and at this point, considering the matchup against the Vegas Raiders, he's probably a 15-point running back, probably in my top 15 rankings in that conversation because of it. But if not, I mean, probably top 20. Let's not get overzealous, but that would be the thought process. That's the rundown on it. Now, the question is if Damian Harris and or Ramondre Stevenson somehow are active, then we'd have to pivot away. I saw Gemini send in a super chat. Thank you very much, Gemini. Says, Olave or Waddle this week in a standard? Probably playing Olave this week. Yeah. I think Olave is probably safer, especially if, in fact, we get into a situation where Waddle, snow game, that mess, that would be a disaster in my mind. All right, so what I really wanted to do quickly here is I wanted to go ahead, again, a reminder for those of you who haven't checked out what it says right here. If you guys haven't checked out PrizePicks, there's a link down in the description. I want to go ahead and pop up prize picks on my screen, show you guys a couple things here in terms of how lucky Andrew got today. And quite frankly, it's not even a matter of luck anymore. I'm starting to really get a streak of games that is starting to print for Andrew. And I'll give you some context. As of right now, just as a reminder, besides using promo code Andrew when you sign up and make that first time deposit to get a 100, pretty much 100% deposit match up to $100. So pretty much doubles your first time deposit up to 100. You deposit 10, you're given 10. You deposit 20, you're given 20, up to 100. Besides that promotion, when using promo code Andrew, they also have the current promotion of the 12 days of Pickmas via PrizePicks. Every single day, there's a different potential entry opportunity. I think yesterday it was, if you make an entry of a specific size, you're also given a free entry of that same size to potentially play. Today's specific entry is the misses clause. There was a protected play if in fact you made an entry. It was a cash back if in fact it failed up to 20. And you went ahead, put together a little bit of a slip here, and I just want to kind of show you what the heck. Usually, just to kind of give you guys some perspective, anytime I make a public statement, let me go ahead and move this off screen real quick. The YouTube, wait, that's not what I wanted to move off the screen. I mean, we could move Andrew off screen, but anytime I make a public statement, like in my video saying, hey guys, this is what I'm going to play, it always goes down the drain. I don't know why. So I've been staying quiet as late and just kind of playing from the shadows here. Andrew went with Christian McCaffrey, more than 38.5 rushing yards in the first half. That was easy. I mean, again, I talked about the matchup before the week started. Piece of cake. Then I talked about George Kittle on today's episode in terms of the high amount of utilization that we have seen Kittle gain against the Seahawks over his career. Kyle Shanahan always wants to continue to make that a point of emphasis in the matchup. Easily was able to accomplish this in the first half. And then, of course, Tyler Lockett barely got over 16.5 receiving yards. But hey, I'm always someone that picks more on given statistics. It was one of those free entries, right? This was a Mrs. Claus kind of play. If it failed, it failed. I would have got my entry back. But either way, in terms of like recent production, listen, guys, the NBA and the NHL has treated Andrew a pretty good way. Now, I watch a little bit of NBA. I watch a little bit of NHL. I don't watch too much. I'm primarily focused on, just making sure that the NFL and our fantasy teams are doing well. But I mean, some of these are just, they're free. When I see Tyler Hero playing against the OK City Thunder, right? All Andrew does, quite literally, this is all I did yesterday. I looked at it. I was like, all right, Damian Lillard is on a 3-game streak of 30 or 40 points. I'm like, all right, he's on a hot streak. Let's go ahead and play him. This guy, don't even know who he is. Don't even know what team he plays on. I literally am just skimming through PrizePicks. And I'm like, well, that looks like an incredible matchup. He has surpassed this number 5 consecutive times. Let's do it again. Boom, worked. And then Tyler Hero, I think earlier today got the start. He's in the starting rotation now. He's been on fire as of late. And against the OK City Thunder, I went and looked it up. Last season when he played against them, dropped 25+ points in both those games. I was like, all right, this is moving. Now, like this one. I mean, look at this. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas selling the bag for Andrew, right? And then we had another hockey play. I don't even know who these guys are, but they're just hitting. They're hitting every time. Of course, Jordan Poole. Again, this is one of the ones on Monday. I was like, hey guys, let's play Jordan Poole. Let's do Taco Tuesday. Jordan Poole wants to, completely sell the bag. Lionel Messi on Taco Tuesday wants to sell the bag, gets hooked on a 2.5 on his, shot. I mean, congratulations. They're going to the World Cup Finals. That's great. And then this, of course, was the Monday play. I'm close, guys. I'm getting there. The momentum is real. And Andrew's starting to really pick it up as of late. We've got to continue to put it together. I'd love to be 100% accurate and just continue to give away good picks. But every time I make a public pick, I'm telling you, it's always bad luck. So hopefully you can go ahead, travel to their website, just look through the plays, man. I'm telling you, just like the way that I do it, just to kind of give you, where the heck did my OBS go? Just to give you an indication, right? Like when I turn this thing on, right? Let me go ahead and let's do this. Let's turn off. Can we turn this off? Yeah, actually, let me turn this off as well. Let me make sure when I go back to the board here. Yeah. Look, like for example, they already have plays available for like, I don't know, the NBA. Let's pop this open here. Okay. The screen's not going to work, but either way, like if I pop open the, goodness gracious. I mean, just completely selling the bag, aren't you, Andrew? See this? Like it'll give you an indication as to how much success they've had against that number. All I literally did, I went to the NHL. Where's the NHL? right? Okay, well, this is different now. Okay, well, there's no NHL games left, right? But I just went, I was like, oh, 5 out of 5? Great. Let's take more on that. And it worked. All right. So, hey, not a savant. I'll tell you that much. You guys are probably better at this at me. So you can check it out if you want. All right, that's my spiel. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an update as to what the heck has been going on and how my PrizePick ventures have gone as of late. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, Jordan Poole was really good with Steph Curry gone. Yeah. I mean, listen, when Jordan Poole's starting, he is going to score purely, without a doubt. Any worries about Aaron Jones getting questionable today after resting up over the bye week? I'm going to hope that tomorrow he is cleared off the injury report, Garrett. If he is not cleared off the injury report by tomorrow, at that point, I would be concerned, yes. And I would move him down my rankings and effectively move A.J. Dillon up accordingly. Adam Thielen over Evans / Amari Cooper. I probably play Amari Cooper over Adam Thielen, but I bench Evans out of that group for sure. Dallas defense all season here. Yep. I mean, that's kind of the same vibe that I've been on a couple of my teams there. Juju or Higgins? Probably. If by tomorrow Higgins has no injury designation, I probably play him. Watson or Tua? I have Watson ahead of him. Again, this video right here, boom, right here down this way. I posted that earlier today. I have Watson ahead of him by 4 spots. I have Watson at my number 12, and I have Tua as my number 16 quarterback going into the week. All right, guys. In about 12 minutes here, at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Andrew's going to be bowing out. So we're going to be answering questions for the 10 minutes. And then that'll conclude it for me today, okay? Do appreciate you guys coming by. For those of you who have already gone ahead and sent in super chats, appreciate that. For those of you who clicked the like button, appreciate that. All that kind of support goes a long way. Trust me, it really does. I appreciate that all. Also, for those of you who checked out PrizePicks, use promo code Andrew. Again, that's another huge way to support the channel and continue my endeavors here on the YouTube space and fantasy space. So thank you. I appreciate that. Who cares? Says, best use for the flex spot. Palmer, Dara Gumbawale, Cole Kmet, Jamison Williams, Chris Moore, Pierce. Okay, so at the moment, in a half PPR scoring format, I would say that Cole Kmet is probably the best use of this position. Now, if we then transition to a full PPR scoring format, and then we're also given the information that, for example, Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks don't play, I would then pivot to Chris Moore, and that's the only thing that I would ever consider. Otherwise, I'm probably playing Kmet. Zay Jones or Juju? I'm playing Juju there. Juju, Mike Williams, and sit Zay Jones, probably. But I mean, I don't love it, but yeah, I'm probably doing that. Let's see here. Standard scoring: Eckler, Kamara, Zeke, and Dobbins. Standard start 3. Yeah, I'm starting these 3. I'll give Dobbins. Got to prove it again. I know it may not make sense, Ando, but with the amount of volume of touches that Gus Edwards is getting in that offense, and the film that I watched this last week on NFL Plus in regards to just watching the game back from the end zone cam, Dobbins just doesn't look himself yet. So I will give the other 3 options the go this week in a standard format. Thank you. Pick 2, Mostert, Dobbins, Swift, Patterson. Mostert, Dobbins. Okay, so Dobbins is first and foremost out of the group because in terms of volume of touches, he's going to lead the pack. I think I would probably venture to say that the second best player out of this group is most likely Mostert if, in fact, Jeff Wilson is out. If Jeff Wilson is not out, at that position, I'm probably playing Swift. Waller or Kmet? I don't even know if Waller's playing. If he does play, I'm still playing Kmet. Dara Gumbawale over Rex Burkhead? Question mark. Probably only in a full PPR scoring format. In a full PPR, I'll play Dara Gumbawale. You know what? Not even... He outsnapped Burkhead by a wide majority on Sunday, but I think it's a matter of game plan as to what they wanted to address with, because I think they're both relevant receiving options. Yeah, I would probably only play Dare in a full. Even then, I think Burkhead could be it. I don't know. It's tough, especially when we're talking about an offense that is losing their starter and the 2 backups are coming off a week where one significantly outsnapped the other. It's tough not to play Dara Gumbawale there. Vic says, I took 60 points with Geno, K9, Kittle, Myers. Still have A.J. Brown, Aaron Jones, Christian Kirk, Brian Robinson, Baltimore defense, non-PPR standard league. I don't know if that's a non-PPR. I'm trying to get a sense as to whether or not 60 points is good in a non-PPR, right? Because K9 probably had what, like 7 points at best. I would say Kittle probably had 20. Gino probably had what, like, what did he score today? 15? Myers had 9 in a normal standard. I mean, I guess that's an okay day, but I'm assuming you're going to need these guys to really pull it out for you. I'm assuming. Waller if healthy or Komet? Yeah, again, I'm going to play Komet even if Waller's healthy this week. ETN or Foreman? I'll take ETN this week. Trevor says, would I be better off playing Devonta, as in Devonta Smith, and AJ Brown, or Bam Knight, Brian Robinson, Bam Knight? So Bam Knight, Brian Robinson, I don't understand this. Wait. You're just asking flex, right? Would you be better off playing this group? So AJ Brown is for sure the play, right, Trevor? So then it's a matter of is half PPR Devonta Smith, Bam Knight, or Brian Robinson. If in fact Dallas Goedert is active, I would play Brian Robinson. Otherwise, I'm playing Devonta Smith there in a half PPR. Hey, Andrews, can the Niners win the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing about the Super Bowl, right? The defense that they have is going to, I mean, it really is going to pressure teams, right? No one wants to play the 49ers. Let's just keep it as it is. The whole question is, can the scheme of Kyle Shanahan carry Brock Purdy? And follow up to that, can Brock Purdy make the 5 or 6 plays in a game that he needs to make in order to win a game? Because truth be told, majority of the passing attempts, when you're doing a pump fake left, pump fake right, and then Kittle's wide open in the middle of the field because the scheme and the play itself is opening him up to a wide open touchdown. If Brock Purdy can make those 5 or 6 passes that define a game, right? That it's not a matter of scheme and it's a matter of his skill and his ability to put the ball in the right place and a matter of him to make plays with his legs. If he's able to accomplish that, if he's able to make those couple plays and be clutch in those circumstances, they could beat anybody. But again, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have a lot to say about that. And I think it's with the Cowboys secondary issues and the fact that they really, in my opinion, cannot stop the run, and the statistics have said that. I believe that it's between the 49ers and the Eagles, and quite frankly, the Eagles are a premier favorite, especially considering they'll have home field advantage for the entirety of the playoffs. So it is really going to be tough to compete with Philly, but hey, don't forget, the 49ers were quite literally one singular interception. What was it? Was it Ward? I think it was Ward. If Ward had caught that interception last year against the Rams, it's over. The 49ers go to the Super Bowl, they probably win. So my Rams got lucky, I'll tell you that much. Okay, a couple more super chats sent in. Marvin Lewis, thank you very much. The standard league scoring. Okay, standard scoring pick 2, Godwin, Higgins, Olave. Also, okay, so of the group, I'll take Godwin, I'll take Higgins. Assuming Higgins has a full participation in practice tomorrow and there's no sort of, mumbo jumbo going on there. Also, start 2 in the flex. We have Jacobs, Elliott, Swift, Pacheco. Okay, I mean, wait. Start 2 flex 1. Got it. Jacobs, Elliott, Pacheco. I'm sitting Swift. Thank you. Who cares follows up saying, drop Palmer for a cuff stash or Colts wide receiver in a non-PPR. If you're not going to utilize him in the coming weeks, which I don't think you will, I think it's a good idea to pick up a handcuff going forward. Anthony Cervantes, let me go ahead and see here. Where the name Cervantes, at least in my mind, I don't know if this kind of triggers in your guys' minds in terms of Soul Calibur. I remember Cervantes, if I'm not mistaken, was the pirate guy. If I'm not mistaken, but I could be mistaken. Someone confirm that if you guys remember old Soul Calibur. Jalen Hurts, pick 3. Okay, so I have Jalen Hurts, pick 3. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Zay Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Godwin. AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are the 3 that I'm playing. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's do this really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the YouTube chat. It's almost 10 p.m. Pretty much my step out and go back to working for tomorrow's video. Enzo says, "Hey Kjork, would you drop Murray for Brian Robinson?" Yes, I would. I would drop Latavius Murray for him. Absolutely. P.S. Okay, Okay, awesome, Stuart. I mean, hey, listen, use promo code Andrew. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mark Andrews, a Cole Komet. Michael says, I got to play Mark Andrews. It's against my religion not to play Mark Andrews when I have him on roster. Let's see here. Joe says, hey, Andrew, full PPR flex question. I have Pacheco, Jacoby Myers, Treylon Burks, Chris Moore, Cole Komet. Pacheco's probably the safest play of the bunch, I would venture to say. So, yeah, I'm probably going Pacheco against Houston, the best matchup in the given week. Olave, Dobbins, Peoples-Jones. Out of the group in a full PPR, I'm probably playing Peoples-Jones there, Alistair. Big Shot says 10-team league. Should I drop Debo Samuel? Nope. Or keep him. There are only 2 games left. Okay, yes. In the case of 2 games left, and the fact that Kyle Shanahan had said that he's probably going to miss 3 weeks, then yes, you just drop him. But otherwise, if you have an IR spot, that's where I'm putting him. Evan Ingram, Waddle with the Buffalo weather. If it's a snow game, I'm probably playing Evan Ingram there. Who cares says best cuff. Zamir White, Matt Breida, Derek Gumbawale, other. Zamir White. Yeah, I'd rather have it with a blue chip running back. Michael Lewis says, I have the same. I'm starting Komet, benching Andrews. Wow. Whew. I mean, this wasn't what Michael Lewis said. This is Booger said to Michael Lewis. That's tough, man. Hey, best of luck, gentlemen. Hey, I'm hoping for the best. I truly am. I really am. I'm hoping everybody plays well. Hey, Andrew, thanks again. Have a good night, dude. Good luck with your fantasy matchup. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Can we trust T. Higgins? Assuming he gets a full designation of practice? Yes. That'd be the only thing that kind of helps. Andrew, how many leagues are you in? Aaron, redraft 13, charity 1, dynasty 2. What's the math on that? 14, 15, 16 leagues. And then also, even though I play in 16 leagues, I feel like I play in a lot more leagues because I have people blowing on my phone, whether it's Twitter DMs, whether it's Instagram DMs, whether it's this or that, saying, hey, Andrew, what do I do here? I'm practically playing everybody's leagues at this point, right? So I really feel like I'm just the center of the fantasy universe of, just answering. I don't really have any teams. I am one with the universe at this point in fantasy. And if my teams play well, they play well. I don't care about my own teams. Quite frankly, I care about your guys' teams more. Truly. I really do. I could legitimately go a full year without playing a single fantasy in any fantasy leagues, be perfectly fine with it. I just play because it's fun, but I could live without it. I want to make sure you guys win. That is the biggest enjoyment I get out of fantasy. When you guys say, Andrew, I won my league, thank you. That is the most fun that I have. Truthfully, like no doubt about it. That is the best feeling. That's why I do this. That's why I do it, because I want to help, and hopefully, I am helping. Now, if you started Ty Lockett today and you're pissed at Andrew, hey, listen, it happens. But he broke his finger, right? He broke his finger. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a video. Saturday, we'll be live streaming from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be here on the channel with up-to-date rankings. On Sunday morning, we'll have top 36 running backs, wide receivers, top 16 tight ends and quarterbacks available. We'll also be mentioning top kickers and defenses, all that kind of jazz. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If I wasn't able to get to your question, my apologies. Again, hopefully, as the week progresses, the more information, the more videos, maybe checking out this video right here, can help you out. Saturday live stream, Sunday live stream, all that kind of jazz. Before I leave, again, I see a couple questions here. We're going to go through them really quickly. DPJ or Elijah Moore? I'll take DPJ there. Jerick McKinnon or Elijah Moore? I'll probably play Elijah Moore, assuming if, in fact, Corey Davis is out. Otherwise, it's Jerick McKinnon. DPJ or Waddle? I'll probably play... We'll get there. VJ. I'm probably thinking it's going to be DPJ if, in fact, that snow game is as bad as advertised. But we'll see. Thank you very much, Big Shot. Thank you. Later again, thank you very much, Lou. Swift or Gus Edwards? Probably Swift there. If it's a standard league, I think it's a little bit more enticing to play Gus, but I'm probably still going to play Swift there. Jay says, Green Bay or Carolina defense? I'll take the Green Bay defense there, Jay, this week against Baker. Superflex League says Young Money. We have Paris Campbell, Latavius Murray, Cole Kmet, Juwan Johnson, or Van Jefferson. Give me Cole Kmet out of the group. Thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, guys. Again, be sure to click the like button. And until next time, we are cueing the music, the legendary Double Helix. And until next time, guys, I'll see you. Peace.